Okay, so welcome to the October meeting of the Jaffna Club. Presentation today is by SenzAgro, who are going to tell us about their new service and their new product, SenzAgro Connect.
Exactly. So can I go?
Yeah, you go ahead.
Thank you.
No,
Thank you
sorry,
so much.
sorry. Hang on, Miller. I'm
Yes.
making a mistake. All right, so the agenda. Miller Alexander, SenzAgro Connect. As usual, I'm having a power cut in Jaffna. The power cut seems to be going to my head as well. So the objective, the club will facilitate, foster and support social intercourse and fellowship among its members. It will build a network of members and non-members that can work together to promote the economic development of the Northern Province. What is the club for? It is a catalyst. Catalyst means it helps people like us connect with each other, helps people like us connect with Northern entrepreneurs and business opportunities, but it's only a catalyst. It's not trying to build any empires. It doesn't invest. It doesn't raise funds, only a catalyst. Here we're paging slowly through our previous speakers. We start in September 2020, and I would say this is a who's who of people who are investing and operating in the Northern Province. Miller SenzMate did an earlier presentation, I think a year ago or maybe a couple of years ago. And we had the investors, we've had a previous governor, we've had lawyers, educators, but mainly we've had investors and entrepreneurs. So last month we had Sugandhan of Venkateshwara, who will be the first company that's currently based in the Northern Province that's floating on the Colombo Stock Exchange. Okay, Miller, over to you.
Thank you so
I
much.
give you the share?
It's an amazing list and it's a great track record Jaffna Club has. It's great to be part of it, Jekhan. Thank you so much for the contribution you're doing for a long time. Pleasure to meet you, everyone. So I'm Miller Rajendran, founder CEO of SenzAgro Solution. So we have a mother company which is SenzMate. We're based out of Sri Lanka since 2015. We are now 155 engineers team and a majority now based in Jaffna. And we serve US, UK, and throughout the world, especially in AI and IoT alone, working with Starbucks, HSBC, most number of telecommunication companies, and so on. But SenzAgro is a spin-off venture with 100% focusing on agriculture, technology, and environment. Data-driven agriculture is our focus. So this particular this particular session is all about the recent platform for a year we working in Northern Province to create a digital infrastructure for the agriculture value chain ecosystem. So let me share my screen so that gives a better idea to have a conversation going forward. So since we have a very short time today and try to wrap up much as possible and have a detailed discussion. Looking forward to have a detailed discussion. So, SenzAgro, without taking much time on the SenzAgro's history because it's our third call. So, we are a data-driven agriculture technology company working with smart sensors to automation and predictive analytics on the agriculture ecosystem, working with a large number of NGOs to agribusinesses and farmers ecosystem. We build as a company to serve the smallholder ecosystem around the world. And proud to say we are the leading and number one agri-tech company in Sri Lanka, the first agri-tech company to go beyond borders. We are in 10 different countries, especially in Southeast Asia, South Asia, and East African region we are operating at the moment. So in Sri Lankan context, through data-driven digital agriculture ecosystem, we have enabled over 29,000 farmers as our beneficiaries, including 4 completely automated smart farms. So which you see in Netherlands and Israel, we make sure Sri Lankan smallholder farmers accessing the same technology in an affordable and hyper-localized crop intelligence along with it. So we invested by the Jaffna boy, which is Mr. Bernard Sinaya, and John Keels, the largest blue chip in the country. So they both invested on us as the pre-seed round investments, and now we are going global with growth path. So today's context, it's all about SenzAgro Connect. So, which is one of our major vision we had for from the beginning. Like it's been like 10 years. We had a vision that we coming from north, we're supposed to create a digital ecosystem in the northern province for the agriculture environment where everyone are farmers, sons and daughters, and everyone has fourth, fifth generation of agriculture background. But going forward, it's not a profitable industry, and youngsters start not getting into it, so that's where technology could be an attractive point. So we initiated, but North, it was our dream to make data-driven hub from the northern province, collecting data, generating data from the north digital ecosystem of agriculture. It's been a dream for a while. So after we stabilizing our company as entrepreneurs, so last year, it's been almost 1 year and above, and we started a platform where the northern farmers and agriculture ecosystem can connect to the south or the global ecosystem, and create a sustainable, seamless agriculture value chain. It's not just producing, it's value addition and even selling to a better price without any middleman. So to enable that, we definitely need huge amount of manpower and fund. So that's why it took 9 years to initiate it. Whenever we got the right amount of source where we can generate, now we investing back into the environment. So SenzAgro Connect targeting major three problems. We run thousands of questionnaires among farmers, agro ecosystems, university academics to buyers and in the south, seeing where these major problems are located. So it's not about implementing digital solutions and sensors. There are major three areas where we see in the agriculture ecosystem which cause a lot of issues for the farmers to make a sustainable living out of it. One is unfair trade. It comes with the distance. Due to the 40 years of war, we were pretty much disconnected from the south, and the economy is generated from the south, like, especially from the capital. And in terms of agriculture purchasing power, which is located very concentrated in one or two locations like Dambulla, Kandy, and Colombo, where the major sources are. But due to the distance, 400 kilometer, and the disconnect what we had for the 4 decades, there's a huge middleman play to source from north, because there are very unique product like papaya, which we are the largest producers in the country. So there are various product which is grown out of northern province, the 5 districts, but reaching them to the local market in the south, which is a more complicated scenario due to a certain condition. So middlemen play a major role in terms of accessing the best out of it. It's not about paddy. Paddy is a different rice bowl concept where it is pretty much dictated and it's very organized already. Yes, it has inefficiencies, but paddy is a different ecosystem. We more focus on the perishable ecosystem where you produce today, you have 3 more days. Within that, you have to find a buyer, sell it, and you have to find a margin out of it. So farmers always running against time. We don't have shelf life, we don't have cold supply chain to store it, release it whenever the off season comes in. So middleman take advantage of it. Comes on the second day, you have 1 more day to get it rot or spoiled. So give it on half of the price point, and they make a very, very unethical, unfair trade in between. Second thing, the farmers don't have price bargain because they have only 2 days, as I mentioned, in terms of farm to produce. So in that context of shelf life issues and less than 1% access for cold rooms and less than 1% access for value addition. So in this scenario, made farmers to sell fresh, and you have to sell it within 2 days. So you don't have much of a bargaining power because you have to find buyers. Whoever comes in within that day, you're selling out. And our conventional practices, which already are doing a huge amount of damage in terms of the farm first gate level itself. That means from seed to harvest, whatever happens in between where the farm first gate, where it has huge disadvantage in terms of natural resources utilization and access for right knowledge and so on. So we see these three areas as major backend issues where we can solve step by step. So that's where we create SenzAgro Connect. So it's basically a bridge between the southern market access and the global market access for the farmers. But it's not just starting as a marketplace. There are 1,000 marketplace platforms started, even by the SLT and MIT and Microsoft invested on one of those marketplace platform. It completely failed because peer-to-peer marketplace platform. I'm a farmer, you are a buyer, and we connected for the first time through the platform. second transaction happens over the call. So the platform definitely lose their sustainability and they getting out of business. So SenzAgro Connect is basically an ecosystem. So we don't do peer-to-peer transaction. We don't do individuals meeting the buyers directly. This is wholesale buyers. We inspired a lot from Pinduoduo, a Chinese platform, the largest agri-tech company in the world. Their first round of investment from SoftBank was $500 million. So it's a huge, large network of farming ecosystem selling wholesale. So we connecting large-scale importers and exporters and large-scale processing companies in the country and connecting our farmers as batch, as bulk. So we play data in between. So the key element, how we come across all these problems by using data. So the major problem we identify as a baseline, which is the 3 days shelf life. So what happens if we are not dependent on the cold supply chain? If we are not dependent on that 3 days of window, if we know what's going to be coming in the end of the harvest, end of time, we have more time to play around. So that's a simple concept what we come up with. So we started to create digital infrastructure through data collection point to what are the missing pieces. I will go through those and we enable everything to collect data that who planted what at this point of time, when this harvest coming in, and how much harvest you are expecting to get it. So this data is available for 12 different crops, all perishable crops in northern part of Sri Lanka, all 5 districts. So this data allow us to have like 2 to 3 months of a window where we can identify buyers, bargain with them, and predictive analytics and data allow us to work on the market price, what is the bargain price point, what kind of price we have to sell, enabling transport, enabling processing in between. All those things has enough time even you are getting a single kilogram of harvest in hand. So that the story I'm going to explain how we did and how it's working right now. So if let's say there is a buyer, they are looking for a harvest, let's say December midweek, and they're looking at like 30,000 kilograms of groundnut. With a click, we have that data in Kilinochi, Mullaitivu. There are the locations. How many farmers do groundnut right now? They are expecting harvest on the first and second week of December. And we can, the machine learning platform pull up everyone, every farmer, and the collection point centers in between, make sure to cater that demand. Who are the farmers we need to touch upon and who are the farmers we need to purchase out? And we pass the information and make sure the transaction is happening exactly on the date. And we, on behalf of the farmers, we do the bargain and make sure they are getting the right price for a small transaction fee only as our sustainable platform. So this is the entire ecosystem. We designed this entire ecosystem starting from like last year. We got a funding round from GSMA, which is a global mobile technology alliance. For this first time, after Dialogue, we are the only private company to won that award in Sri Lanka, and very rarely a tech company receiving a GSMA award in Sri Lankan context. So, which is a 50 million rupee grant and to implement a digital ecosystem in the Northern Province. And we got plenty of support from the ecosystem partners like Agriculture Sector Modernization Project Northern Province. They from the day one, they get a huge support for us by enabling farmers, enabling the collection centers for the farm buyers to come on board. Then the University of Jaffna, they help us on farmer practices, soil testing, and a lot of things. So what we create as an initial step by step, I will explain how it goes right now, but how the entire story happens 1 year back. The Met Department has only 5 locations in the Northern Province to collect data about the weather condition. And that information, whether it's reached to the farmers, it's a question mark again. Because most of the weather stations are located in the coastal area to support the fishing industry. Farming, where they get a very rare data. So it's pretty much like guesswork. So that's allow you to, and yeah, it's prone to wrong decision making. So we enable 20 weather stations in 20 different locations in the Northern Province. Jaffna has 4, Kilinochi 4, Mullaitivu 5 stations, Baunia 4 station, and Mana 3 stations. All these weather stations are not just piece of plastic. These are Davis Instrument weather stations from US, huge investment. So now we have 5 times more data than the government in terms of weather predictions and weather data for the agriculture ecosystem. This data is already streamed for more than 3,000 farmers through SMS and WhatsApp information with crop-specific advisories. Then we want to know what's happening below the ground. soil testing data, there is no database at all in terms of Northern Province. There are few data sets, even in the island wide, there is no much data about Sri Lankan soil. So North, almost zero. So what we did, we collect 1,500 data points with 383 villages throughout the Northern Province. So this data was with the support of University of Jaffna, we fund the entire program, and we got 1,500 data points being collected. We know 14 different inorganic parameters and soil carbon content and microorganism activities, microbial activities in the soil point. So not only it gives us an idea like what kind of fertigation application you can use, what kind of crop selection you can go for the soil. We have one important point, that our biodiversity information. Microbial activity gives a biodiversity information where you can differentiate and cluster farmers who are eligible to consider as organic farmers. We have that point of information from 1,500 locations. And totally, we have onboarded 14,500 farmers in this platform. Started with 500 farmers, thanks to ASMP, that culture sector organization. They started with their clusters. There are 17 clusters created by ASMP already with processing centers. We piggyback on that network to kick off our farmers ecosystem. So started with 500, turning back 1.5 years, we are 14,500 farmers on board. And we created our own digital infrastructure of network. So mobile service providers are very much complicated in terms of making partnership and making coverage for our weather stations, sensors, our digital mobile applications, and so on. We have created our own, in Klenochi alone at the moment, a LoRa WAN network, a wide area network where any sensor network can piggyback on that public network, which SenzAgro created going forward to create any agriculture technologies positive without the dependency of any mobile service providers in the country. And we mapped over 200 locations of water sources, which include ponds, reservoirs, agro wells, and so on. Our target is going forward with thousands of field officers on the ground. We had 22 of them and 8 researchers separately from the university. So with totally around 30 people on the ground who support us with the data entry and creating this ecosystem. So this was absent in the past 4 or 5 decades. Even after the war, it's been 10 years, it's never been implemented. But there was a huge dependency where we can't make data-driven decision making. A farmer becomes a smart farmer not by using an app or satellite or drone. A farmer make 60 to 70 decisions. From the selection of the seed, this rotation, I'm going with this seed and I'm going to harvest on this date. If I keep it for 3 days in the tree, I get a better price point. Up to that point, a farmer make like 70 decisions. If that farmer can make data-driven, evidence-based decision with right decisions, he becomes a smart farmer. To enable that, this digital public infrastructure is highly important, but it's never been done for a very long time. So we took the initiation to make certain extent of support to the ecosystem. So this data is public. University of Jaffna are already using it. We are looking forward to partner with some DMC environments where the weather station can be used for public broadcasting on weather in context and so on. So this data is open for anyone who can piggyback on it. So this is the first step we created to the digital infrastructure. So then there is mobile-based data input. So we collect data. There's huge bottlenecks in terms of collecting data, how much you produce, where you collect, and so on. We put huge amount of incentive on the ground to collect this data from clusters. So now we have now we have 23 different clusters throughout Northern Province. 17 clusters already being created by ASMP, the rest created by our own virtual clusters. These cluster of farmers are basically sharing information every 2 weeks about their harvest. So now we have close to 15 different crops updating their harvest, what they grow at the moment when they're getting harvest. That's the primary data we always targeting on. To create this, we have spent millions of rupees onto it. But now it's making return. That's the positive sign we are always looking for. So to talk about SenzAgro Connect, what happened? So it's been 1 year we started from. For the past 3 months, we open up our market linkage. So we have data. So whether we can open up our market, that was the waiting point. So past June, last June, we started our application to open for the market. And now we onboard 80 positive customers, buyers basically. And we have created our own network of clusters and made $40,000 worth of transactions so far. in the past 3 months period. And now there is a lot of traction coming towards value addition and processing as well. That's one of the best sign we see that the system is getting sustainable. People initially purchase raw material only. Now they are looking for value addition, which is a long-term sustainability. We see a huge potential here. So even I talked to Mr. Shomeshwaran in the call. So regarding there is an aloe vera processing is starting up. So there's huge opportunity starting on taking the market towards from raw material sourcing from the first gate towards a processing value addition environment where we're getting closer to the consumer, where your margins are. So middleman will be completely eliminated and farmers become more of a successful farmer closing towards the consumer himself. So there are some major observation we have find in terms of enabling this. So I think this network, the Jaffna Club, and I'm always presenting many places where I can find support in terms of getting more stakeholders into the network. One of the major observation we have to consider here, Northern Province comes under 3 agriculture ecological zone, which we call it DLL1, DLL2, and DLL3. These all three agriculture ecological zones are dry zones. The problem major positive is we have very unique crops which is growing on the dry zone. We have access, and there's more positive. Rest of the country, if it goes for off season, sometimes we have on season on that. For an example, TJC mango very recently throughout Sri Lanka it's off season, but that's exact same 2 months we had TJC mango in Northern Province. So that's the positive sign of it. But that's again, there's a negativity. The same agroecological zone you can find in Monoragala, Tambutegama, Talava, and throughout Dambulla. This caused a major problem. Towards Colombo, Jaffna is 400 kilometers, Dambulla is 200 kilometers. You can find whatever the crop mass scale production which is available in north, available in 200-kilometer less distance, and buyers would love to buy in a very closer range. So we have to break open this barrier first. So we work a lot to find the gap. So the gap is off season. So we found throughout the country, we have farmers, we create a database calendar, which district or which location has a particular crops production to make sure at least 10 to 12 months continuous supply. So now that was the biggest problems where buyer face. So the continuous supply. So we make sure at least one season, which is off season throughout the country, coming from north. So we extend our supply chain. So the buyers now considering the north suppliers as their sourcing network. So that's one of the positive sign we see. The second important part, we see the quality checking process. I take my truck, maybe 20-ton truck, and taking to the north. And if the quality is not in my standard, I'm expecting it happens to us as well. The quality is not in the process where I can export. They need to turn back another 400 kilometers empty-handed. So we created something called CQC checker, which is on demand. That means if you're purchasing from one of our clusters, you can hire another individual who is trained for quality checking process, where he or she will go to the location, check the quality, take you pictures, give about updates, and give some scoring about the entire production, where you can hire that service. Then you can confidently bring your trucks. So we are enabling step by step, we are solving these issues, overcome the existing network of suppliers for at least one season. That's something we are going forward. Then that's another huge opportunity we see. The opportunity what we have in this context in North, where are the value addition? So majority of the problem comes from the last mile. 30% of loss happens on the last mile, the way you pack, where you process. So if you can do the pulping within the processing environment, if you can do the processing, if you can do the drying process within the northern province, creating more job opportunities and SMEs in this environment. But additionally, it gives a huge advantage in terms of shelf life. At the same time, very few loss in terms of the last mile. So we don't want to just be a raw material sourcing network. Now people are looking for pulping of aloe vera, pulping of, as you see here, pulping of aloe vera, pulping of passion fruit, pulping of TJC mango, and so on. So that's a huge sign of positivity comes from that. So these are some of the positive and the bottlenecks what we have. So now we have enabled sourcing for TGC mango, passion fruit, no issues at all. Aloe vera, we have more than enough requirement. Groundnut, no issues at all. But crops like banana, we have huge demand, huge supply, but we couldn't find a demand. So there are crops we find difficulty to sell. So it's not 100% enabled. So we get rid of our problems one by one. For the last 3 months, there are some good positive signs comes up and some observations and bottlenecks and challenges we have identified. So this network I'm looking into utilizing this opportunity what we have in the ground and utilizing and piggybacking on the existing infrastructure what we have created. We are known for the resilience and sustainability because we failed in 2015. Jekhan knows the entire story we have shared in the past. And 4 years later, we started again, and now it's been an 8-year-old company with global presence. So we're never going to drop this. So we want looking for partners who can support us in terms of enabling buying power for few crops we are looking into, especially banana and processing of chili and a lot of crops we have in the list. But very peculiar crops like wood apple and tamarind, we have huge demands going forward. So there is a new opening for new crops, but existing crop we are looking for buyers. So enabling buying power, it's something we are looking at the network or the stakeholders to be part of. And the logistic hurdles are huge. So we are looking at logistic service provider or any investors who like to get into the logistic environment. We are more than happy to partner with them because there's no cold supply chain happening from the northern province. So we have to piggyback on existing infrastructure. Certain crops looking for cold supply chain, there is nothing available on this ecosystem. So we are looking forward if anyone can collaborate. We don't have that kind of capacity yet to create our own transportation support. If anything is available, we are more than happy to go for it. So, third thing, the branding and value addition. So now we are at a point where we can do processing and do a value addition, but there's no such operation happening in terms of packaging. So in terms of branding and packaging, there's a disaster in the northern part. That's why we don't have a brand at all from north. So creating a packaging service, for an example, we got a deal from Dubai, but they are looking for king coconut and cassava and papaya. So we had the sauce without an issue. But the problem comes when the buyer wants two containers every week, but they have to pack it in a way they are request. A 6 kilogram of cassava can be put into a box in a dimension what they are looking for. And see, king coconut goes into a box which is supposed to weigh 7 kilogram or 6 kilogram in between. So this knowledge and creating that boxing environment is not there in the northern province. So the deal goes to a Kurunagala point, which is 100 kilometers, 200 kilometers from where the sauce comes. So that particular branding company, the packaging company, just purchase out from North all the papaya and ship it out. So we're losing huge amount of opportunity, which due to these missing pieces what we have. So if there is any value addition, branding and packaging, transportation, so this type of ecosystem, if you try to invest or interested to create some ecosystem, we have the source, we have the buying power, we have missing pieces. So you can plug into that missing pieces, and this will be a win-win situation for the north and the farmers and for everyone as stakeholders. So these are some of the importance I like to share in the call today, and more than happy to discuss further on where you can support or where we going towards, where our vision going towards. I am more than happy to discuss further in open. Thank you, Jekhan, for that. You're on mute, Jekhan.
Yeah, thank you, Miller. Before I open the questions to the audience, I'm going to abuse my rights as chairman. So the couple of things that I was interested in, and some of these questions you may not want to answer, and that's fine. The first one is the Northern Province Ministry of Agriculture. Is it cooperating with you? If you want to pass on that, then do. Hi, Miller. So you're muted, Miller.
It's muted, Jekhan.
Yeah, still muted.
Yeah, sorry. Can you repeat it again, Jekhan? I was losing you for a while.
Okay, yeah. So is the Northern Province Ministry, because you mentioned the Jaffna University is very good
Yeah.
working with you. How is the Ministry of Agriculture, the Northern Province Ministry of Agriculture?
Definitely. So Ministry of Agriculture is a different thing. We didn't had much of a discussion or support on that context, but the Department of Agriculture, along with agriculture sector modernization. So that's a World Bank project along with the ministry. So end of the day, that comes as a ministry. So there's a separate project happened for the past 5 years, 5 to 6 years, called agriculture sector modernization. So to talk about that context a little bit, which we were aware very well. So we joined them in the very tail end of the program. So there are farmer societies in the past. So World Bank invest on those farmer societies to become public unlisted companies, like these are cooperatives. So basically like PUCs, we call it, or farmer producer organization, these companies owned by farmers. So there's an existing ecosystem. So 17 clusters or 17 locations where these farmers are, and there are collections. So we don't. That's a huge advantage what we had. Thanks to ASMP, we piggyback on them. The first early adapters are these farmers, and the
Yeah.
main purpose of the platform where we don't. Yeah,
Sorry,
please go
just
ahead.
so that other people have time. Um, I'll just ask one more question. The president announced these 3 new enterprise zones. Are they
Mhm.
going to be relevant to you, what you're doing?
Definitely. So the coconut triangle is something we are looking forward to work on. There's a huge potential on that aspect because it's already there, but it's not mapped in a way which can be connected to a larger ecosystem. And there are some industries which is very unique for the northern province, which we never touched yet. On the aloe vera and tamarind industries, those are not yet in industry yet. Those are forestry grown, or very rarely people do tamarind, for an example. So we are looking forward to work on moringa type of value addition oriented environment. Definitely, there is a positive ecosystem we're going to work on.
Okay, thank you. Does anyone else have questions?
Jahan, is it
Advancing the
okay?
city.
Jagan, it's not a question, but just to, can I talk or?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, so take 2 minutes, Vasi.
Okay, it's a very brief thing, Miller. Very impressive, what you've done. So much research has been put through. I can introduce 2 or 3 people who are
Thank
currently
you.
involved with large exports of papaya and all those. I will contact you later. But this same platform can be used for other sectors too, even for fisheries, isn't it? Right?
Definitely. Yeah, definitely, for sure. So already we got some interesting questions and interesting synergies happening at the moment with DMC. So the same data infrastructure with what we created can be used for flood and rain and harsh weather condition predictions, and that can be broadcast through our existing ecosystem. So there is a lot of potential. That's why we call it a digital public infrastructure. We create an infrastructure, anyone can piggyback and utilize enjoy the existing infrastructure. So it can be used for various aspects. Was it?
Anandan, you
Thank
have
you.
your hand up.
Yeah, thank you, Miller. It's really, really impressive and very encouraging to see. And coconut, particularly, is of interest because coconut merchants, Niru Shantan, is one of the biggest of coconut water from Sri Lanka and other South Asian countries, and he's helped in packaging as well. I'll connect you up with him, and
Yes.
hopefully he could help, and also he can have mutual benefit out of.
Definitely, and thank you so much. That's a great point, Mr. Anand, because to if you see the history, everyone, like the existing coconut triangle, which is Kurunagala, Colombo to Puttalam, this triangle created a huge ecosystem, which is getting the value out of the existing coconut triangle. So from the wasted dust, the cocoa pits, to coconut water, everything is exported, and it's a huge industry financially and economically. But there's over 400 plus registered SMEs in the coconut value chain, from starting from multi-million dollar companies like silver mills to small companies even. They do a large amount of things. So saying that Northern Province, it's a virgin land where we just starting a coconut industry by aggregating farmers. But the ecosystem which I'm talking about, creating the multi-million-dollar value additions from cocoa peats to coconut water to everything, Tetra packs of created coconut milk, vegan alternative for milk, which is coconut milk is the highest in terms of the global aspect after almond milk. So there's a huge potential on a value addition of coconut industry, which is supposed to be enabled. If we and our stakeholders, our entrepreneurs delay this process, the existing process is just 100 kilometers away. So just simply migrate the operation and create a large ecosystem. So it's running against time to environment. So we try to promote youngsters to work on those environments. Where I started working on processing. Very rarely we have it's all known. There's nothing you have to do for cocoa peats or nothing you have to do for taking out coconut water. It's all about making it in the right process, going through the right quality process and food security and food processing environments and quality checking process. So those are some of the missing gaps and huge opportunities going forward, as Mr. Anand mentioned.
So Miller, you were talking about sort of young people doing, you're encouraging the young people to do their own
Yes.
processing projects and the like. What do these young people need apart from the technology? Do they need funding or is that not really an issue?
No, the funding won't be the primary problem, Jekhan. So everyone talk about funding, they don't know why they are asking for funding. Most of the cases, without the proper financial discipline and financial ideology, they can't take money and they will definitely waste it. So that's what the curse at the moment is happening. The major problem is the capacity building and knowledge gaining on that, and they're supposed to know the complete know-how how it works. To give a context, so since we already part of this ASMP network, every single processing company has a processing environment. So they have facilities, they have dryers, they have pulping centers. How efficiently those facilities been operating, it's something a question mark because of the capacity building what they are having right now. So it's all about, it's not just investments to buying machineries and all, how to operate, how to make it right, how to take it to the market. Those are huge missing pieces. So if there is an investment or a plan coming in and they're focusing on creating a value addition ecosystem, it's supposed to go through an accelerator program. So that's the important part. So the accelerator is supposed to identify the right entrepreneurs, whether they have the network, whether they have the knowledge, whether they have the right pipeline. Investment, it may be 1 year later, because at the moment World Bank has a funding $120 million, which is comes, I think, from January 1st onwards. ADB comes with another $8 million. So it's not a lack of funding where it's all about, you're supposed to know the know-hows and how to access the funding. It's again
Sorry to
another
interrupt. So who should be doing the capacity building? Who's responsible for teaching the partners?
It's basically entrepreneurs' responsibility where they have to find where these things are available. It's happening right now. So I am part of a couple of programs and think tanks where I saw many young entrepreneurs from North now taking part in these acceleration programs in South. There's nothing happens in North. For an example, UNIDO do free of charge capacity building in industrial standards, but you have to apply as a community and bring them in with the right cost. Let's say I need to know how to do cocoa peat processing and cocoa peat manufacturing in North, then they will bring the specialists and experts and so on. They will teach you what to do and so on. So that's completely free. That's the mandate of UNIDO. GI said do
So
similar.
what you're saying is that we have to ask UNIDO. UNIDO isn't going to come to us. We have to ask UNIDO.
We have to ask. UNIDO don't know who are the people who can identify. So every single grant, every single diaspora funding which goes to the same people, they are part of some network. That's how it all end up with the right people with
I
the right
agree with
way.
you. And the North misses out
Exactly.
100% because
Definitely.
we're waiting to be fed. Jayarajan, you have your hand up. It's not fair. You go ahead.
Yes.
You're
Hi,
muted.
hi, Miller.
Hi,
Hope
Jay.
you remember me. I think I met you with Baski in your office in Colombo.
Yeah,
So I ain't a
exactly,
stranger for
exactly,
you. So just to
exactly.
catch up a couple of things, I think I'm very, very impressive what you've done. You know, it's basically the supply chain, the value chain, you put in the backbone structure. It is fascinating, you know. It's a great job you have done. But, you know, I told you that, you know, myself and one of my friend called Roger, He's supposed to join the meeting, but unfortunately couldn't. So we have a small atmosphere irrigation. We have done we actually got funding from MDF, Market Development Facility.
Yep.
And we are working with, as you said, GTZ. I think we got the initial funding from MDF to set up the micro irrigation. I think it is in progress.
Mhm.
And so we are getting things up. And we have launched almost 12 polytunnels in northern province. So
Hmm.
then why really I want to talk to you about I think what you made a point on the value chain. Yeah, really, really concerned on the value chain part. Yes, we need to set up some processing center uh, in Jaffna itself, rather, just jumping out of the border. We have a lot of competitions are forming up. So I believe that we could.
Sorry, Gerard, can you just, for everybody's benefit, tell us who you are? Because you're saying a lot of really interesting stuff, but we don't know
Yes.
who you are. So can you just...
So basically, I still work for iNGO, but that's myself and my friend who started this company about 6 years back, and that's actually first we worked with ILO. ILO gave us the first funding that is time of the economic crisis. So this fund we got it to supply the fertilizer, and we brought the fertilizers from Maxis, the first fertilizers from the chicken waste, and we did it, and so that's how this company started it. So it's Northern Micro Irrigation is started. And we have done quite a good projects. I think we have currently we have about 380 customers on micro irrigation and rainwater and other sprinkler systems in all over North. So we're currently focusing
That's
in the
really
Northern
good.
province. We don't want
Gerard, you're saying we, but who is we?
we is me and my friend. So basically myself and
But you don't have a
Nirojan.
company.
We do have a company, Northern Micro Education Private Limited, the company that is located in Puttur, in Point Kodru Road. It's basically a private limited company, and we have basically a showroom over there. You all can visit. I can show you the more details. I think the
No, please
company.
do.
You can just
Be really interesting.
Northern Modern Irrigation. You can just Google it. You'll find the space. Everything. We have a website already done. So we basically, just crawling baby, just trying to walk through. So right, we are just starting it up. So, but in whatever it is, we have managed to get our first funding from MDF after about a long progress. It's about 6 month communication when between MDF and us to get this is just about 2 million funds, if I tell you frank. And another fund is a big one, is coming on its second phase. So we just struggling, but we got it. So another important part, I think we are the first, yeah, we are the first company to tell you that stride on the polytunnel. I think we are installed 12 in northern province. I think others also could have done it, but we have shown success in our polytunnel to most of the customers who has purchased it. Now, why real concern is, Miller, how we could integrate with SenzAgro and modern irrigation on your tech part. You see, we are a tech company. So
Yeah.
we basically are more agriculture driven company. Like, what I say agriculture driven in the sense we are into farming based. So we want to get the tech involved in this to ensure we want to actually the GTs that's coming up with the startup funds. Okay, we are going to work with the startup funds. So if you could just help us, now I think it's a win-win situation. So if you could just give us a hand, yeah, we could source more funds. So that's basically my idea here. The reason that I want to join this meeting, I think I will be able, I will communicate you. I have your details and everything. So I will send you a descriptive email on this. In the meantime, I think Jekhan also, I met him about 2 weeks back. And I told him Jekhan's supposed to visit one of our sites. I think he's supposed to take him from next week. I think we will set up a date with Jekhan, and we just want to take him around and show what we have done. Another thing, we are another company, we started it. We are developing vermicompost in a big tank. You could visit our office in Puttur. Currently we have 25 vermi beds. We are basically, people are buying from us. As you said, the cocoa peat, we are currently buying it from Kurnagala. Our polytunnels, grow bags, what we use is half is cocoa peat, and rest is vermicompost. So
Vermicompost
that's
makes
how
sense.
our soil based is. We don't use basically a 100% soil. We basically make sure our NPK is basically created by us. So the potassium and
Exactly.
all these things. So that's how we make our soil. So currently, I think we have even proven some of the crops, like almost like a cash crop, is like capsicum. Even I think guys recently export buyer was interested to get some scotch from us, and these things are just taking place. I
Definitely.
think market is booming. As you said, it is not the north for 10 years back. Now north is being tapped by most of the people. They say there's an opportunity in the northern province, and market is pulled out. So we have the time to crash into the party, so we can get into the
Definitely.
business. So
Exactly.
I believe what I need is, I think you are, I would consider you as a super large company. I think the investment itself, you said 150 engineers working, is a massive investment. We are just two people trying to survive, right? So, and we have started this business, and we are going on, and we currently do a decent turnover. We have last year, our turnover is about 63 million. So we are looking this time to achieve at least to 100 million turnover this December. So we are just
Congratulations.
trying to. So what I need is basically, Miller, if you could just now, for especially GTZ project that we want to submit our proposal, I think if you could help us how we can integrate agriculture with your IT startup thing, and we'll be able to get some funds. So that's
Definitely.
I will
No, I will
basically
help you out. I'm aware of the project, which is the circular
you are
program, right? VC4.
a circular
Yes.
program, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm aware of it. So I can definitely help you out. So I'm really closely working with those guys. So I can definitely support you with that.
Yeah,
And Jekhan, that's exactly the story as Gerard's mentioned. So now we're purchasing cocoa peats from Kurunagala. So now this new coconut triangle we are addressing in north, which is 60,000 acres. There is no need for going Kurunagala to purchase this cocoa peat if there is a cocoa peat making company. You don't need anything. You have source, you just grind it. That's it. So that's all cocoa peats required. So if it's available in North, the productivity will be huge, and there's a huge market. So cocoa peat purchased by Netherlands and Japan from Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka is one of the best cocoa peats in the world, and we can definitely utilize that. And Gerard is a good example. He access since he already in operation, he has the paint, so he access MDF, the Australian Aid Fund. Now he accessing GIZ. So this is what I said. Like we have to access it. That funding is already there. It's not about uh, always funding won't be the solution. Yes, money is the solution, not funding is not the solution. So they can find it. So if they have the pain, so people who just sitting and waiting for a fund which is coming along with another 100 people, those guys definitely drop the project. They're never going to continue. That won't be sustainable. So that's where the identification of the right people and going through what's missing pieces and doing a capacity building, then giving the fund to fix those patchworks, that's the best investments to go for. Now Jairaj been already identified those patchworks, and I think that's the way forward. So to continue on that, which I pointed, $120 million from World Bank for the next 5 years is available. That's huge opening for agriculture ecosystems to support it. These are for cooperatives and community of farmers, not for individuals. So definitely that's supposed to be community of farmers. So that's something they are looking into. ADB coming with infrastructure plans. So if there's huge machineries, cocoa peat company or whatever the company you're planning on, ADB coming with another $50 million. So roughly around 150 to 200 million dollars worth of funding coming in next 2 years. It's so that's saying that it's not a issue of funding, it's issue of accessing it. So whether our entrepreneurs ready to access it, whether our entrepreneurs are really have the pain to go for this hustle and access it, as they are said, like 2 million you have to run for 6 months of a burning process. So but it's worth it if you have a proper plan. So if you are serious about it, definitely funding is there, money is not, we don't want to just wait for investments alone. So the
So
entire investment we put for
from
SenzAgro Connect, it's purely our money, and we want funding outside. So yeah.
so sorry, Miller. So from your position, can you see groups in the north who are ready to apply for this, who just need a little push? You don't need to name them, but do you know it? Do you know
Yeah,
some?
we do. I do. We do. We have pushed them also. They see they find there are gaps, there are capacity needed, and that capacity building, it's not available in North. So we now, that's why I said, like, I work with GIZ and all. So these guys are willing to support the entrepreneurs to bring that capacity, to run a pulping center, for an example, run a drying center in North. So these are stuff we try to bring it in. So this don't take money, basically. That's the thing. It don't take investment. It take a little bit of time and effort and some network to create that linkage. So that's where we stand at the moment.
Because I think the North has got a big problem networking. But Vasi, you've had your hand up for a while. So
Yes,
do you want
Mr.
to-
Miller, my question is, I think most of the products you spoke are export oriented. Is there one product like eggs or poultry where we can become self-sufficient in the northern province? Can you put your brain into that and see whether people can eat eggs, at least one a person every day kind of thing? Can we formulate a plan
Exactly.
and make it happen?
Actually, I said that India is proved, they showed how it works. So MTS, the Indian Egg Society, they have sports experts, Sachin, Dravid, those guys are promoting 2 eggs per day. So it's not a industrial issue. It's all about a branding and marketing issue in terms of our people to adapt. When Keels open up last, I think a couple of weeks back, a couple of months back, we had Sushantan, right? So when Keels open up, they hit the largest purchase in a day in North, not anywhere in the country. They hit 20 million rupees or something in a day. So if that's possible, we have the purchasing power. So it's all about brand, where, what to purchase. So if everyone purchasing our local product, then it's done. But how to brand our local product as a competitive product globally? So it's not about the product. It's not always about the money. We don't have the capacity to promote like this. We don't have the capacity to run in a large scale competition industry. It's all about the missing pieces of marketing, as Jekhan said, like the networking, for an example. So that is a huge problem. The branding as a huge problem. So those are not funding issues, those are capacity issues. So if people promote, if we have enough production, it comes with supply and demand. Let's say the production is low, then the market is also low. That's why it's not seized as a pain point. If everyone started to purchase eggs or poultry, whatever the industry, then there's a demand automatically creating the supply chain. So the processing produce will be automatically created. It's always bottom up, not top down. It's supposed to start from the market side of it. That's the piece most of the entrepreneurs missing out. That's we did as a mistake. We failed, almost bankrupted for the first time in the 6 month of investment when 2015. It took 4 years to realize that's not top down, it's always bottom up. Identifying the market is the important key. So I think those are the areas we have to enable market, whatever it's required for the market, like branding, reaching out to people. So those are the things missing. Then it's all about fitting the jigsaw pieces, like the processing needed. Okay, we go for the processing, the QC needed, getting the ISO standard. Then we need to get more sourcing. That part enabled. Usually how we do, we have created 5,000 poultry farms and we producing 2 million eggs per day. And now we are looking at the market. The eggs won't stay until the market is ready. So that's where the biggest missing pieces rise all the time.
Thank you, Mr. Miller. Thank you.
Okay, so Miller, just to wind up, it's interesting. I'm so happy to hear you say that it's not money and it's not getting funding. Everyone's sitting there waiting for more money to come to them. And I'm very interested that you identified networking, branding. The North has a terrible, terrible brand.
Terrible issue. Yes.
And I've been watching some tourism
Startups.
adverts, and they're terrible. And also being proactive. Instead of just sitting here waiting for UNIDO or whoever to come and run a course in Northgate, go and ask. And this is a question that goes beyond this. It's something that people who want to get together. I've said in jest that the Northern Province needs a consulate in Colombo with somebody there who's like our ambassador who can schmooze. I've seen so often iNGOs coming up here And the expert advice they get is from people in Colombo who know nothing. And that
Exactly.
is because there's nobody from here who's down there giving them the advice. It's a very frustrating thing, it is. And I'm very happy that you've brought it up. Anyway, I'm going to, unless anyone has an urgent statement, Banan, you have, no. Unless anyone has an urgent statement, then I'm going to wind up because it's come to that time of the evening, morning and afternoon. So thank you, Miller.
Thank you.
This will go out in recording. I will send it to some specific people. I encourage everyone here to, if you know specific people who would be interested in this, send the recording to them. So as usual, good morning, have a good lunch. Thank you, Miller. Good night, Kurt. Time for you to go to bed.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much for listening to me. Pleasure to meet you all.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, Miller. Thank you.
Bye.